I'm going to be honest. This review could well be the most difficult review I've done to date. Maybe the most difficult review I'll ever do. Let's find out. Today's review is none other than the new release by Francesca Bianchi, and it is Once Upon a Time. Once Upon a Time by Francesca Bianchi is a new release. New for 2025. It came out approximately a week ago. I purchased this directly from my website. I'll put the links below there. It's arrived. I've tried it. I've tested it. I've worn it. And here's the review for you today. And if you stick around, you'll find out exactly why this review could be one of the most difficult reviews I've ever done. So let's have a look at what we've got. We've got the bottle, a 30ml bottle here. It does come in 100ml as well. But the reason I bought the 30ml is it's cheaper. And also, positively, Francesca, her fragrances are extrait de parfums. They're very strong, as it says there, extrait de parfum. I hope you can see that. There's the logo on the top. They're very strong fragrances. I do have some of our other fragrances. And I know I haven't reviewed one on the channel yet, but I was waiting for a new release, really. I've got Love for Sale, I've got Sticky Fingers, and I've also got Under My Skin, all of which are great in their own little way there. Anyway, back to Once Upon a Time. So going back to the bottle, as you can see, it's a nice little bottle, plastic cap. The 100ml may be different. I think it's the first time I've ever bought a 30ml simplistic bottle, simplistic print, but the fragrance is something quite different. Now, I'll show you the box that it came in. Here it is. There you go. That's the box. Hope you can see it there. And inside, I've got a few little samples there. And there's also a card in here. Now, there you go. There's some artwork for Once Upon a Time by Francesca Bianchi. And then on the back, it states mood, comforting, intimate, and warm. And it's called the Time Capsule. Now stick around because all of this impacts on the review. A time travel in the memories of us all. If the world was ending, which memories would you save? A gourmand for adults that takes you back in time to rediscover your childhood's emotions. And then it's got olfactory profile, gourmand, sweet and fruity, which is great because most of Francesca's stuff is based around kind of dark leathers, iris and animalic notes. So this is a bit of a twist, a flanker almost. And then the notes in here, reading directly, are mandarin, pink pepper, musk, castoreum, vanilla, candied almonds and candied cotton. So when I saw the adverts for this and I saw the notes, I thought fantastic because I do have some of Francesca's stuff and I think it's really good. So let's have a look. On Francesca Bianchi's website, she says, this creation is built around personal memories with universal value, recollections of childhood joy that becomes a source of comfort in our adult lives. The result is a gourmand perfume for adults boosted by emotion. So when I saw the advertisement for that, I thought, I've got to get it. I've got to get it and I've got to try it. And that's exactly what I've done here. So usually I'd put 2 in the air and 1 on the skin and tell you what it smells like. But I can't do that here, and you'll find out soon enough why. So looking at the notes, as I've previously read, I'll tell you what I get from this. So immediately off the top, I'm met by some leathers. There's almost a slight petroleum smell, petrol. I think it's because of the alcohol and the strong nature of the extrait. The first 30 seconds when I sprayed it, I was like, wow, that's not what I was expecting. Fruity gourmand with these soft notes, and I didn't get that. But after a minute or two when it opens up, this is what I get. I do get a bit of sweetness and a bit of fruit. I didn't immediately detect it as mandarin. I think the pink pepper, it kind of smooths and lifts the dark notes a bit more. Now, there is musk in here. It's a nice, soft, enveloping musk, which is great. The vanilla is there. And then you get the candied almonds, yes, and the candied cotton. Now, to me, it's almost like a birthday cake. That's the smell I get. I get this. I get some nice sweetness. I get some fruits, and I get some birthday cake. Almost like a kind of a candied boiled sweet kind of smell. That's what you get. But at the same time, there's musk, There's the vanilla, which is slightly darker. There's the castoreum, which Francesca does excellently, which is the masculine animalic element. And then also, as this fragrance develops a bit, it's not super sweet, don't get us wrong. It's got Francesca's DNA there from the off, which is unmistakable. If I blind tested this, I would guess it was a Francesca Bianchi. So yeah, you get a sweet, fruity, soft opening, but there's some darkness there. There's certainly some earthy notes, almost like a kind of a patchouli-esque. There's a bit of leather in there, which again isn't noted, but you can definitely detect some leather. And for me, as the fragrance develops and it gets a bit more sweet, a bit more powdery, a bit warmer, a bit more enveloping, for me, you get a touch of iris. I don't know if it's more like an orris root. It's kind of a powdered, lipsticky iris, which Francesca does very well in the majority of our fragrances. And by that, I mean it's included in most of our fragrances. Iris is what she does best, in my opinion. And I'm not an iris lover, as you know. So for me to not only tolerate this, but enjoy it, that's a victory in itself. So yeah, it is gourmand and it is sweet and fruity, but it still has some darkness there, some masculinity, some edge, some earthy notes, and a little animalic touch. Now, you might be thinking, well, this fragrance is called Once Upon a Time. And I think it's perfect for this fragrance for reasons I'm going to go on to shortly. But the thing that Francesca does best is she releases fragrances which are based on emotion, provocation, just that kind of, the masculinity comes out. I would describe our fragrances, they are quite sexy, they're quite sultry, they're a little bit dark, they're a little bit edgy, they're very provocative. So for me, all of that is here with this as the fragrance goes on. So Francesca doesn't lose her base, her DNA and her identity in this fragrance, but she does very well in bestowing upon you this story that I read at the start. Once upon a time, memories, childhood memories and things like that. So, without further ado, let's put 2 in the air and 1 on the hand and see what magic happens. I'm going to put 2 on the hand. Yeah, there you go. I've done 2 half sprays. Right. There you go. Very strong fragrance. Immediately, it hits you like I described before. You're getting that leathery note, slight dark note. You're getting a little touch of fruit there. There's a bit of musk. There's a little kind of earthy, dirty element in there. It's quite overpowering when you first spray it, but then it softens up and all of the little elements come out, especially the sweet notes, the gourmand notes, the candied almonds, the candied cotton. And for me, when I wore this, I thought to myself, right, I want to see if this reminds us of these childhood memories and things that you said in our advertisement. And surprisingly, it did. Now, I was pleasantly surprised, don't get us wrong, but this fragrance, it hits me hard. And I don't know why, to be honest. I mean, maybe that's the skill of the perfumer. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're creating a fragrance which is supposed to be, comforting and evocative of memories and things, fragrance is one thing when it's scent, but it's another thing when you're making it like emotional and bringing back memories and stuff like that. So when I looked at this, I thought, surely not. I mean, how would you do that, But when I do smell this, it does remind us of my childhood now, which is great because I had a very good childhood. Growing up, I was born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s. And yeah, I would say I call it the golden years. So the 7 years from 1992 to 1999. I left secondary school in 99, but for me 1992 is the year that stands out. That's my greatest year. That's my best memory. And the reason for that was I just remember at that time I was 9, nearly 10 years old. You're going out with your friends and you're out in the street, you're playing football, you're doing sports, you're playing on computers. You had your Nintendo and your Sega, you'd go around each other's houses, you'd play on your computers, you'd get pizzas, you'd watch movies and that, on a Friday night on Channel 4 or whatever it was, I suppose there was Sky back in then if you were lucky enough. I did grow up on a council estate, so there wasn't many people had that luxury. But yeah, 1992 was great. I went for football trials at like a semi-professional level. I'd done mixed martial arts and karate. I think I got me I got my black belt a couple of years later, but I was doing very well in that. I fully enjoyed that, both socially and as a sport. So I had my football, I had my martial arts, I had my basketball trials as well for Sunderland Scorpions. Not name dropping, but as you can see, I am from Sunderland. That went well. So I was doing all kinds in 92. I was having a great time with my friends, with my family at school. You're young, you don't have responsibilities, you're 9-year-old, you're having a great time. 1992. Yeah, that was the best year of my life. Really enjoyed it, and yeah, nostalgia is real, and you look back, and if you grew up in the 90s, you know exactly what I mean. It was a fantastic time, nobody was scared to go out on the streets. You knew everyone was, things were affordable, and it was simple. Technology was a lot simpler, and there was more things to be wowed at, But anyway, 1992 was great all the way through to 1999 when I left school. My school days were great, loads of fun, met loads of great people, some of who I'm still in touch with, and they know who they are, and they watch this channel as well. And yeah, they're the golden years for me, the 7 golden years, I call it. Now, when I smell this fragrance, and there it is. So I'm getting the sweet candied almonds and the cotton candy. Now, some of my best memories as a kid, birthday parties. Great. My parents, God bless them, always used to get us a great birthday party. Whether it was at home, whether it was at the Crow Tree Leisure Centre in Sunderland, where we used to play football or go ice skating or go swimming or play pool or whatever it may be. There was always a little room sectioned off where you'd have your birthday cake and your hot dogs and your pizza, and all your friends were there, and you'd play games, sing songs, have a brilliant time. Got great memories of them, best times of my life. And this smell reminds us of that. It reminds us of birthday parties. It reminds us of carnivals and, like when you used to go to the arcades and stuff and the fun fairs. That's what I mean, the fun fairs. So I used to go to South Shields, which is on the coast near Sunderland, and we used to get the bus. Get the bus, Craigie. Yeah, get the bus from the bus station, the E1 or the E2 or the E5 sometimes if you were lucky, and then you'd go all the way to South Shields. Travel along that would take half an hour. You'd be on the coast, lovely sunny weather. You couldn't wait to get there. You had your pocket money and that. You had your 2 or 3 quid or whatever it was, and you'd saved it a couple of weeks, so you might have had a tenner. And then you're going to go on the fair. You're going to get your hot dogs, your ice cream, you're going to get them, sweets and popcorn and stuff like that, and you're going to go on the arcade, you're going to play the games, stuff like, the original Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Outrun was fantastic. You'd go on the Tuppenny Nudger on the arcades and the 2p drops and all that. All of that was great, and you'd go on a few little rides, you'd have a great day with your friends in the sun, you'd have fish and chips for £1.50 or whatever it was, didn't even think it was that back then, and you'd go home, you've had a great day, you'd go and see your family because your parents would be like, right, Paul, well, as long as you're back by 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, not a problem. And yeah, my parents are great people, and they used to set the rules like that, and as long as you stuck to the rules, there was never a problem. So that was great. So I'd always make sure I was home on time. Sometimes it was a bit close, run through the door with a few minutes, and you're like, oh God, am I late? Is me dad going to discipline us or whatever? Clip round the ear roll, can't get away with that these days, but never mind. But yeah, great memories. of my childhood. It was fantastic. And this fragrance, going back to it, them smells in particular remind me of birthdays, fun fairs. It reminds us of summer. It reminds us of special times. It somewhat reminds us of Christmas as well. Christmas was always a fantastic time. I'd have all of the family round. My mother would put on the biggest, best spread you'd ever see in history. Now, bear in mind, we didn't have a lot of money, but my parents worked hard. My mother worked about 50 hours a week. She'd done 2 jobs at one point. My dad worked away. So I was the man of the house and matured quite quickly. But I appreciated everything I got. And they worked really hard to make sure that me and my sister had, everything we needed. But it was great because we had, there was food on the table, clothes on our back, football boots, technology, if they could afford it and get it for us, then they did. And my childhood memories were great. But yeah, Christmas would have the family round, you'd have the open fire, you'd have like the fruits and stuff. That's where the mandarin and the fruit comes in, sitting around, the fire, having your fruit and your chocolate and things like that, and toasting your marshmallows and things. All of them memories and the Christmassy smells and stuff from the marshmallows and the fruit, it's all captured in here. It's all in here. And it's special. So for me, for, a fragrance to have such an emotional effect on me, it really is, a special thing. It's something which you don't come across every day, and it makes you appreciate the great times that you had. And hopefully, you viewers had a great childhood as well. I hope you did. And so for something to be so evocative of the nostalgia and the positive memories of your friends and your family and growing up, it really, it's hard to put into words how much skill and how much talent has gone into making this fragrance. So having just taken a moment, you can probably understand now why I said this is probably going to be one of the most difficult reviews I've done so far and may ever do, because it's very unusual for a fragrance to provoke such a reaction. Sometimes you get scents and you like them or you dislike them, or there's a note in it which is questionable for various reasons. But there's not many fragrances which have an emotional effect like this. And yes, I know, it's in the advertising and Francesca states what she's trying to do here. But telling somebody something and actually delivering it and making them feel it through fragrance, well, that's something entirely different. Now, fragrance is more than just smell. Yes, people want to wear fragrance because they like the notes and they want to smell good. That's fantastic. But this emotion that I feel with this fragrance, isn't that what fragrance should be? In my opinion, fragrance is art. And fragrance should be emotional. It should be personal. And this is why in all my reviews I say, try before you buy. Test it on your skin. See how you feel about it. See how your nose and brain deciphers and detects the notes, and see if it brings you happiness. See if it energizes you, or if it just doesn't suit, the things that you enjoy. Now, fragrance should be more than just smelling good. Yes, you want to buy a fragrance because you want to smell nice and things like that, but the emotional side of it, isn't that what fragrance should be? Shouldn't fragrance be more than just a scent? If you can personalize it, if it can provoke a positive reaction, a childhood memory, positive nostalgia and things like that, and if it can just connect with you, then for me, that is the ultimate in perfumery. It's not just scent. Fragrance is an experience. Now, taking aside the emotional part of this fragrance, the notes and the scent profile is really good. It's a solid fragrance, and it's a good release from Francesca's line. It's a slight flanker, it's sweeter, it's more fruity and more gourmand, which is great because most of our stuff is the darker, more masculine animalic. So this is a very welcome twist here. Now, looking at the performance in this, The performance, it's an extrait de parfum. The projection on this is around 2 feet. Now, Francesca's work is more intimate. It's meant for a more intimate setting with friends, family, or a loved one. So it creates a nice sillage around you. I would say a 2-foot projection is what you're getting here, which is absolutely fine. Now, the performance on this, really solid. It's an extrait de parfum. I would say that you're getting 8 hours of solid performance up towards 9 and 10 hours. So from 8 to 10 hours on 3 or 4 sprays, not a problem at all. So this fragrance, apart from the note profile and the scent itself, it certainly performs. Seasonality for this, well, I would say autumn and winter are fine for the note profile. I don't think I'd wear it in spring, and I definitely wouldn't wear it in summer. Where to wear this fragrance? Well, unfortunately for me, I don't think I can wear this anywhere. I can only wear this when I'm by myself for reasons I've just shown. I would wear this around friends and close friends and family, because I think it would just enhance the positivity and nostalgia and memories that I've got. It's that strong of an emotional pull for me. But for anyone else, where would you wear this? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I think you would wear this, maybe socials would be okay for this, day and evening. Date night, you could wear this, yes. But certainly the more intimate settings, I'd be wearing this. I wouldn't wear it to work. I wouldn't wear it to formal meetings. I wouldn't wear it at gigs or anything like that. So for the more intimate settings, that's where I would wear Once Upon a Time. So we've looked at the note profile, we've looked at the performance. Now let's look at the price. Okay, so the price for this, you can get it in 100 or 30 mil. 100 mil is €249 from Francesca's website. You get free delivery if you buy any 30 mil or bigger bottle, so that's great. Didn't get any import fees neither coming across from Italy. €249 for 100 mil, I think that's about 217 quid. Now my bottle, I bought 30 mils, and that was €118, which equates to around £107. So looking at it that way, it's about £3.20 per mil if you buy the 30 mil bottle, which is niche perfumery pricing. But in my opinion, such is the scent, the performance, and the quality of notes, I think it does justify the price tag, because it is quite unique. And for me, certainly, it's very special. So in conclusion, Once Upon a Time by Francesca Bianchi. I think it's a good release from her range. I think personally it's a good bordering on great fragrance. Personally, there's a few notes in there which can be a bit challenging, but when you put them all together, they come across beautifully. It's very contemporary, it's modern, it's beautiful, and it's certainly provocative. And the little thing in here which you can see is that something special that she's managed to put in here. It may be different for yourselves, but I'm an emotional guy. I'm a sensitive guy. Yes, I'm a father. I'm 42-year-old. I'm mature, big lad, done plenty of sports in my time. But I do have a sensitive side, and I am emotionally receptive. And from reading what Francesca was trying to make, I was intrigued, and I thought, I've got to try this, and I've got to see what my reaction to it is. And it was nothing less than mind-blown. So yeah, can I recommend this? Yes, I can. It's a shame that you won't be able to blind buy it, although you can get samples from our website. So please do that. And yeah, Once Upon a Time, Francesca Bianchi released a special fragrance. And I lived happily ever after. I'll see you in the next one. Tell your family you love them.